planning to take them over for other uses and so on.
That's why I mentioned that we have to give a high priority to making use of modern technology.
Okay, thank you.
Betty was the last person. Well, Betty was next.
I just, okay.
Betty was
I'm
next.
next. Ms. Engelhardt, I'm one of the new faces that you haven't seen before.
Could you speak up, please?
Yes, I said that I'm one of the new faces that she mentioned and that she hadn't seen before. It's my impression, and the impression of people in my community, that this particular station is paying very little attention to community issues. And I don't know if any consideration is being given to an increase in the kinds of coverage that should be given to general community issues. Many of the, I'm sure this shortfall in some of the funds that comes through the funds has something to do with the community sort of feeling as if they are left out. So I'm wondering if you would comment on that.
To be perfectly honest, that's an area of a great deal of discussion at every one of our stations, particularly the news coverage coming from, you know, various neighborhoods and various areas. And one of the things that is on my wish list to get around to, and it has not reached the top priority yet, is to begin to figure out ways to get better training programs at each station so that we can utilize volunteers to get this information on the air. And so it's on my list of things that I'd like to accomplish this year, is to begin to set that in motion. But I agree with you, we don't do enough coverage of our local areas.
Okay, time is elapsed. There were, and other people, I know Alex wanted to say something. Is anybody else? Does anybody object to?
It's okay.
I wanted to say something.
Okay.
I'll give my two minutes of public
What I'm
comment.
going to do is, okay, what I was going to do after Berthold speaks is ask if we want to move public comment up to that point afterwards, and then people could ask Arlene and Berthold questions as part of the public comment if
Good.
somebody wants.
Good.
Okay, are there objections to doing that?
Moving it where?
Moving it right after Berthold speaks. Next,
So it'll be 6A, I guess?
yes. Any objections?
Just a point of order. So that means that public comment will be 8:45 time certain, 30 minutes.
It would be whenever this runs out. Then after this, Berthold has 20 minutes of the discussion, and then it goes to public comment, which can use some of that to ask questions if they want of the management. Okay. Seeing no objections, it passes. Berthold?
Yes. I was not exactly getting ready to presentation here, but
We have 10 minutes.
well,
Yeah, Vectors, I think.
Can you get the sentence rolling, right?
trying.
Throw it
Email.
on. What happened?
You want to use the table or use the table?
Dr. Vajra, I'm the general manager of WBAI radio station 99.5 FM. I don't have much to say actually. Let's just go over things that we've been doing at this station to emphasize that there has been a positive attitude, a lot of excitement. Before I go into all of that, we had an event at Ethical Cultural Society where we presented Professor Richard D. Wolf and George Galloway, and we made about $10,000. I don't remember the last time we made that much profit on an event. We could have done better, but I think that was pretty good. Joe Friendly just gave me a copy of the video of the event. So we're gonna look at it and hopefully we're gonna market that during the fund drive, and board members who didn't show up, I hope you buy it. At that event, we were working on this document, which is an effort to brand and rebrand the station. And what that does is, obviously, things here are too small and so forth and so on. We're rushing this, but we are working on this as we speak to put to talk about BAI branded, have the fonts bigger, decide on what facts to remove or how to reduce this to make this legible, and to also feature most of the shows at the station. On the back of this form, we give our Twitters and social networks address, and we mention the upcoming events that we are going to have. One of the upcoming events, actually I'll go over the upcoming events that already happened. Radio Free Aaron, St. Patrick's Day program. Not only did it have a nice St. Patrick's Day program, it was brilliant, but for the whole month, they broadcasted from a tavern, and I think it was pretty exciting, brought a little excitement to the station. The salsa event did not happen because it was coming right after the fund drive and after the George Galloway event, and so a lot of our time was spent focusing on getting all these things happening, and so we did not do that. WBAI Artsy Fartsy Battle of the Band will just happen this past Saturday or Sunday. We made about $600 net profit. There were 80 bands, young kids, 30s, who applied. I believe there were 8 bands that were the finalists, and then it was good. They had a video that was projecting WBAI and WBAI shows on a loop on a regular basis, so they kept talking about WBAI to this young crowd. They had probably close to 200 to 300 people, because there are young people that keep going in and out. And that was actually, I was kind of impressed by that. Took a long time for them to plan that, a good 3 months, so they didn't plan on doing that anytime soon. But this gives us an idea of what it is that we can do. We have, actually this place here that we're having this meeting is the result of a relationship we have established with Our One for the Arts. They had an event here on March the 15th where we facilitated getting Amy Goodman to be the moderator of this Egyptian woman that was talking about the situation in Egypt. And we have coming up on April the 20th, another event that's happening in here at Pacifica, and this is, we have Joy Gordon, who is, she wrote a book called Invisible War, the United States and the Iraq section. And we are right now working with I Want for the Art to see if we can again record it. We recorded the last event. Maybe talking to Joe Friendly, we might even videotape it. And we're working on the release form and so forth. This place was packed, and they had to send people away the last time that we had this event here. And we publicized it on WBAI, and that's what we intend to do. We have also another group called Kavi Canon, which is a minority group that promotes minority artists and poets, and they have managed to get a lot of them to win I'm blanking.
Scholarships or something?
No, more than scholarship. They've won the ultimate awards,
Very distinguished.
distinguished awards. Artists,
Very
yes.
important.
Kavi Canon. And so this is the hour one for the art. This is the event we're going to sponsor next week. What we have also done is WBAI management has managed to already pre-schedule, and starting to organize the next the first 2 weeks of the fund drive. And in Kathy and I and management, we have almost reached out all the list of the producers to discuss the first 2 weeks, so that we're kind of planning ahead and starting to work on premium. I mean, we want to even do that even earlier, but I think as we get better, we will start doing that. We've contacted Amy Goodman and so forth and so on. And we're going to start discussing with producers their premium. So we're like almost 3 weeks ahead of before the fund drive. So anything else you want to say about that? Kathy?
Next week we're having a book fair. The 20, what is it, from Wednesday through Sunday we're having a book fair. So that'll be nice for people to support that. We had some events extending out of the fund drive with the eye care workshops, and that was fairly successful as well, as far as events go. So, that's all I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
So do you know?
Yeah, no, I know what. Well, also talk about the schedule. Well, the battle event was Sunday. This Friday, we are covering from 11 to 2 the concert against big business at Union Square Park. Yeah. Then on Wednesday, David Wattenberg interviewed Jeffrey Smith. That's also when we're having the Joy Gordon event here. Thursday, starting Tuesday, May the 3rd, we're having a fun drive, beginning, spring drive. At the end of the spring drive, Friday, on June the 3rd, we have this yoga.
No, Sunday, June the 5th.
June the 5th, we have the yoga event. The yoga event is
It's actually a community giving event, and it's a joint venture between WBAI and the Dharma West, which is the Dharma Yoga Center. My personal yoga teacher, who I've been with for a number of years, he's a world-renowned teacher and spiritual leader, and we're going to make a donation to the CAPS, the Child Abuse Prevention Services, to help with their programming. So it's actually going to be a yoga in action, like what it really means to give to the community. And it's coming together nicely, and it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a $20 donation, and that gets you about, we're looking at about 4 hours right now, between some yoga, some meditation, some lecture, just all kinds of things. And you could give more if you want, and it looks like now majority of the proceeds are going to go to the CAPS programs. And I don't know if people know Marty Resnick. She's a mutual friend of WBAI, and she's been involved with CAPS. She used to be on their board of directors. So she worked there, so she knows exactly where the money goes. And child abuse is the largest problem right now, and it extends to every class, to everything. There's no boundaries. Child abusers grow up to be adult abusers. If they don't grow up to be adult abusers, they try to commit suicide. So there's just so many things, and I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be, it comes at a good time because WBAI is struggling financially, as is everybody else, but they're showing that they're willing to give. And I think once you, my philosophy has always been that once you give is when things come back to you. So I think that's the only way that as a community, as a world, we could really be prosperous, and we have to really help each other. And I'm just so excited about it. I know I've been bugging Berthold a lot, but I just want to thank him for moving forward.
Let me take, is it okay to be finished? We can
And
take
on
questions because we're running out of time.
on Thursday, June the 16th and the 17th, we have Bloomsday.
Bloomsday, can I describe it as an international literary event? We produce it annually. Last year, for the first time, WBAI and KPFK interacted using actors from their signal area, in other words, big deal actors, and big deal actors here. We had Alec Baldwin, and this year Wallace Shawn, and the Irish author Anne Enright, and we are working in collaboration with Irish literary celebrations all over the world. This will be directed by Karen O'Brien and technical supervision of Larry Josephson. So it's a big deal, 7 hours of broadcast.
It's going to be an exciting,
Yeah.
couple of days, because right after Bloomsday, we have the Clearwater Festival, and that are really being managed and spearheaded by Kathy and Jim Crevo. They're helping us. Kathy is a person managing it. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Wait, that's,
I didn't want
we're really,
I didn't want to really go into all the details. I just, we skipped, we're doing a special Earth Day broadcast from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday, the 22nd, mostly including the producers who would normally be on the schedule, some special programs. That's Earth Day.
May 22nd.
And, yeah, so also we're doing Clearwater, and Bashir is also working on producing the African Festival from Brooklyn. And we also have a hip-hop takeover this summer, as well as the Gay Pride March. So there's a lot of stuff in the summer.
okay, we are out of time, but I'd like to extend time so that we could ask questions. How many people? We're not. I watched that.
7 minutes.
We'll just go and then we ask John.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. What is this?
This was supposed to be a press release for that event that we didn't put out because we didn't finish it up. But basically, this is something that was going to talk about WBAI.
What is the press release for the
John Gallo.
Big Arrow?
Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to distribute.
Because I have a specific question. On the, where you have the lineup of like art and culture and things like that inside here, was this a sampling or is this?
It was a sampling. We're trying to put everything in there. Not sure if we probably can do that, squeeze everything else more. And because on top of it, we just kind of talked about who we were. And so we can squeeze that and then put.
I had a concern because Gary Berg, he's not listed down here, the global beat or global black experience, he's not down here. Rise Up Radio's not down there. Andrea, sister from another planet, she's not down there. And it's, they're kind of key to giving a broad spectrum. So I was just concerned that they were overlooked.
Actually, that's why we didn't get this out. This is a sample. That's why we didn't get this out. This is a sample of what we're working on. That's going to go out. I mean, obviously, if you look at the fonts and different things, this is small, this is big. We have to work this out. But this is our intention.
Okay, to be distributed as a...
In general, like for an event, we will just change the people who are featuring in here, or we will remove them and put more information about WBAI. We'll have 2 different formats so that we can pass this around and talk about who we are.
Okay. All right, so they will be included in that.
Yeah.
Mitchel Cohen. We're going to executive session at 9:15, and we need 30 minutes of public comments. I think we should go
We're
to.
waiting just for this round of discussion to finish. And there's only a couple of people that raised their hands.
It's 8:51, just so you know.
Bob?
Yeah, Bertol.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about a topic that this board discussed at some length, I think 2 meetings ago.
Can you speak up, please?
Sorry. I believe it was 2 meetings ago, the board had a vigorous discussion and people on all sides of the board were very concerned about some of the pledge drive programming to use right-wing videographers or producers to put together some of the premiums being offered. The prime example being Zeitgeist, which in an earlier version that was offered on BAI directly quoted Lyndon LaRouche, and even in later versions still offered people who follow that right-wing and in some ways fascistic ideology. So my question to you as general manager is, what guidelines have you put in place so that the upcoming and all future pledge drives don't repeat that practice of putting out programming and raising money off of people and ideas that run completely contrary to the mission of the city?
Well, none yet. First of all. The second of all, I cannot disagree with that approach. So the Kathy did this. I've spoken to, for example, the Zeitgeist. I've spoken to some people of Jewish descent, and we felt like there was an overreach. I've also spoken to people of Jewish descent that are close to me that were slightly offended by Zeitgeist. So it's a matter of opinion. And so we're a free speech radio station. I do understand that we have to be careful, and we have to try to do the best we can to watch out for these things. But I did put out to the board also that the board was welcome to come up with premiums, suggesting premiums to us that we can present successfully on the fund drive. We also, that's why we also are meeting with producers earlier to have them step up to come up with premium themselves, so that will give us less pressure to have to choose more premium, on the fly. And Kathy, you want to touch up on that? Yeah. Well, that's part of Kathy's part of the process.
I know, but we've run out of time, and if people want to hear more, then we need to extend time. So, is there, it's everybody, so is there a motion to extend time to continue this discussion?
How many minutes could we extend it?
Mitch, there's 30 minutes for the public comment.
There's
There aren't
no,
much
I don't
public.
see any motion to extend time, so we're going to go right to public comment now. Sorry, Major. And people in the public can also use that time to ask
Yeah,
questions.
but I mean, there's not that many public people. I don't know.
Well, I know you're using up your time. Go ahead.
Well, there's so many things that I am concerned about. First of all, we say freedom of speech or free speech, and the station, and my recollection, has never had a thick, multi-day, week, whatever. Is Arlene here, or did she leave? Well, I mean, she was supposed to be hearing this. Well, then I'll wait. I'll wait till she's back, because she's got to hear this. I mean, please.
Is there another Monroe, are you finished?
Yeah, well, I'll wait. I mean, I thought she
You
was sitting
may not come back.
where she
She may
was.
not come back? No, she's
Is there a-
She's on the call.
Is there another person
Can
who
you
wants,
let her know that this is going on?
is there another,
Do you have something to say?
Awkward, she kind of.
is there somebody else who has something to say? But you have 2 minutes to say whatever you'd like.
Are you
Yes,
using this as a
Marcia.
public session right
Yes,
now?
yes.
Yeah, I
Please,
have,
yeah.
Well, you want
Yeah.
to...
Monroe, please let others speak.
Yes, she wants to say something. She's
All
lost
right,
her
you can
voice.
speak next.
Okay, go on.
yeah, it's very irritating that these meetings are not appropriately announced. Could you tell us what is required in the bylaws for the time period for these meetings to be announced?
I'm not allowed to answer. I hate to say it.
What do you mean?
I can if you want.
That's a point of
It's up to the-
information.
If the board wants to allow it, fine.
I have made an effort for you not to say the last or the
Excuse me.
next meeting.
Monroe, you're violating people's freedom of speech.
Laugh.
Yeah, the bylaws are supposed to have, it says at least a week, an announcement. The meetings themselves are planned ahead of time, so what we were missing was the place, because we didn't have a place, but the second Wednesday of every month is when the meeting is scheduled for years now. And that's, so it's announced that way. But,
Yes, but without knowing where it is,
correct.
I mean, nobody's just gonna jump on the train and go anywhere.
Why, that's
to
what
some
we all
unknown-
did.
Some unknown meeting.
I would love to have it done ahead of time, earlier than that. This was the last minute.
But also
Yeah.
on the website, you know, I've seen it in different places. I've seen it on the homepage where you just scroll down where the programming for the day is announced, and it was at the end of that. I once or twice saw it there, and today, I didn't find it until this afternoon, actually, in a different section. So if you want to put it, you know, in the drop-down area where the LSB is mentioned, you know, okay, but I think it should be on the home page.
We don't have
To
any-
make it easy for people to find it.
I agree with you. I don't understand.
But why is it announced on the radio?
It should be.
Exactly.
Should be.
Why should it be announced, and why is it that, first of all, you can never get a hold of anybody at the station, the phone is hardly ever answered. And I mean, that is beyond, I mean, it's so offensive that you can't even get through to leave a message or anything. You know, if management is giving the person who answers the phone, usually Jennifer, some other tasks to do, she needs to be given the tasks at the phone. She stays at the phone so that people can get through. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not professional,
Your time is allowed.
so what?
Well, because there's another person who
But
wants.
at any rate, I don't know if it's an issue with the webmaster, the issue of posting notice, or if it's an issue that the webmaster is not being given the information. I don't know, can you respond to that? With regard to notice of the meeting?
Me?
Whoever can answer it.
It's up on the, are we allowed to answer now? or- No.
Mitch, you said that Berthold, people could direct questions to Berthold or so she's directing it, obviously, to Berthold as the manager of the station.
But if the board sends it to, well, it's easy, you send it to me, I forward it, you say send this notice to the webmaster, I forward it to Michael Horowitz, and I tell him to post it. And that will be posted. That's simple. As far as the phone, we are aware that there's a problem. We are building interns and volunteers army that are coming and addressing a lot of issues we have at the station. We have a lot of interns, we have a lot of volunteers that are calling members on a regular basis and attending to their needs and apologizing for late premium being sent, sometimes from 2009, 2008, and so on. But it's a problem that has been accumulating for a while, and it's going to have to take a little while to be fixed. It's better than it used to be. Also, we are about to revamp the process and streamlining the flow of premium. One of the things is the premium is recorded as it's recorded, and there's a process that we go through where before it's presented on the air, we're supposed to know exactly how and where to order the premiums. Now,
We need to.
now we can
let more people
have now we can have the premiums ahead of time. Some people like Steve one of you otherwise, because we never know how well they are doing. So we can order 200 of one thing and might sit there while something else goes really fast. So we're not like a storage place. So we have to wait until the fund drive starts to do that. So that's why it takes a little time to get the premiums out. And some of those premiums, the contact to get those premiums were not done properly, and that's why we have this situation. But going forward, the phone are being answered, the
This
premium are
is
being.
way too long, and she didn't answer that.
You're
premium. She
actually
asked about the
answering a
phone.
question I didn't ask.
Well, that has to do with the phone being busy all the time also. People are calling for premium.
Oh, okay.
The next, yeah, our time is over.
What?
Are there other people in
Do you want to
the
speak?
public? No, you wanted to speak?
Go ahead,
Abby.
Monroe.
No, go on, I mean,
Wait, did you want to speak?
I know, but.
Monroe, please.
Monroe, speak.
No,
All right,
Monroe.
look,
You
Arlene.
said you wanted to say something.
I'm a 50-year.
Monroe, hold on, we're going on the next
Yes,
person.
I just wanted to find out if it's possible to have some of these meetings in Queens. You have it in Brooklyn, in Manhattan. I remember a long time ago you had a meeting that was really not a meeting. It's a place in Queens. Is that possible? Is there a problem with having a meeting in Queens? One of these meetings?
There was one in Queens at a church.
Abby, I'm not answering because unless I feel my hands are tied, I'm not allowed to answer. Not allowed.
What does that mean? Could someone explain not
The
allowed?
board passed, okay, just so people know as who are new here, the board passed a thing a couple of years ago and then again last year saying that board members are not allowed to respond to public comments, that people, even if they're direct questions. And I was opposed to that, I thought we should be able to respond, but.
So why did you ask me to say my, you wanted me to ask a question if you're not
Yeah,
going to
if you wanted
respond?
to ask, yeah.
Oh, who's to respond? Somebody else?
I don't know, if people want to advise me, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, point of clarification or?
I'm sorry? He should answer the question.
I have a point of order. This is something, one thing that I agree with Mitch, I never agreed with this since 2004, and I don't agree with it 7 years later, that we should not be responding to the public. So maybe we want to relook that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, like the listener said, she's asking a question, we just sit here and.
This is public, point of order.
Yes.
We have public comment, now we've got crosstalk
We know
between
that.
LSB members. Could you please call everyone to order?
Now you called on our point of
He
order.
calls
So
on
what we're
me.
doing
He
here
didn't call
is-
on you, he did not
You're
call
on
on
the-
you.
now it's
Please call a member to order then.
No, call him to order, Mitch.
Please
That's
call a
not
member to
good.
order.
Calling
I have a point of order,
everybody.
Mr. Chair. Would you please call everybody to
No,
order?
you call him
I
to
We
order,
have,
Mitch.
if people can't control themselves, they should really leave.
I think that's uncalled
Chair?
for.
Mr.
No,
Chair,
there was
point
a
of order.
support. Here you call me.
What are we doing
You know what, we're
with
wasting
basketball?
public comment time.
Please.
Wait till you're called on.
We are now eating public comment with back and forth with LSB members.
They didn't call on you.
Right.
Let's go to
We're
point
going
of
to the
order.
next person, and I'll talk to you afterwards about that.
No, I'm not my first answer, no,
Well,
because
it's not gonna
I'm
happen.
read for the
Next person.
Point of order,
Then
Mr.
why
Chair.
ask the person to ask the
Mr.
question
Chair, I
if
just
you're not
don't
gonna
think it's
respond
clear
to it?
what's going on here. The public is free to ask questions of Arlene Engelhardt and Bertolt Reimers, but not of us. And I think that's where the confusion is coming right now for this public comment session. That's what we agreed, to open public comment to the public to be able to ask questions of the executive director and the general manager. But
Well, in that
right
case,
now, our mouths
I'll
are
take my
sealed.
question back and ask another question of the station manager. Is that okay?
Sure.
Because I'm talking, the man over here spoke about Gary Bird, which is what I wanted to ask you about. He has been pushed aside to a slot on Saturdays at 5 o'clock. A very inopportune time for me or people that I know to hear what he has to say. And Gary Bird is very, very important to the African American community because he has things about the history and stuff to tell the people. And he's at 5 o'clock on a Saturday. Whereas I looked around here and I saw Gary. It's funny I should see Gary Miller's face around here, which means that I'm supposed to say something about him. He has a slot at prime time for a long period of time, talking a lot of gibberish, which is of no, sometimes he's just talking just to talk. Gary, no. And I'm saying that Gary Bird, who has so much to say to me and to people who in my community, he only has a little bit of time back there on a Saturday? Is there something that can be done to fix it so Gary Bird can get an appropriate amount of time to express himself and speak to his community?
First of all, I must say that, you know, I saw you chose the word Gary Bird was pushed aside. And I think that's
Well, he has been moved around.
that's a very objective, that's a very subjective statement. We made programming changes so that we can increase the listenership, streamline programming based on our vision, and increase revenue and listenership. And that's what we did. We also took into consideration people who had 2 shows of 2 hours or more each, and we took all of that into consideration so that we did our best not to remove anyone. We added Gary Null at 12. We added a basic slot from 10 to noon. We added Al Jazeera for an hour in the morning, which took some space that needed to be, cultivated if we were trying our best not to get rid of anyone. And that's what we did.
Are you planning to get rid of Gary Bird? Is that the reason why he's being shoved around like that?
Our time is finished.
My time is finished?
Yeah, finished a while ago. Abby's next, and we'll come back to mine.
My name is Abby Smith. I'm a lifelong listener. I'll be 56 on Friday, don't repeat it. But I've been listening since I'm 10, so that's a couple of years. I'll never stop. And I had a stint as a producer, despite the denial of certain people in this room. However, what I miss most about BAI is a folio. That was a way of connecting with the community, letting people know what the station's about. There were little feature stories. There was a full program guide, not just a grid. There's something kind of cold about a grid, to me. Now, I understand what printing costs. The folio seems prohibitive these days, so I'm wondering why we can't create a more formidable, eye-pleasant space on the web that's like a folio, that really, features different people, that you get to know. I have several pieces, and I know I'm going to have to end soon. So I just want to say to Bertol, hello Bertol, that I heard Andrew Phillips. Somebody put up on the internet Andrew Phillips' opening statement to the people of Berkeley, and I was really impressed with his approach and vulnerability in terms of giving his background. And I think it would be really good for people out in the community who don't know you, Bertol, for you to do the same thing. You get on the air, not report to the listener. I'm talking about like a, hi guys, this is me. This is my background. This is what I believe in. This is what I've done. He gave his whole CV. I think that's a great thing to do. My time is up.
Thanks.
Yeah, I can answer that. We thought about doing that. Tony and I discussed it in Kathy, just like having open 2-hour just talk. Just never had the time to get to it. We have instituted a newsletter online, and we sent it out to 18,000, close to 19,000 to 20,000 listeners recently on the 5th. We're getting a lot of feedback, and we're going to put a section in it, response from listeners, positive and negative, so that people can see what they're doing. Yesterday I had a meeting with Michael Horowitz and Rebecca Miles. Michael Horowitz is the webmaster, and we're talking about putting a section on the website that would link, and maybe not interactive yet, we're not at that level, but also give the link to the newsletters and put all of them in there if people want to go back and look at them. Newsletter is very colorful, has my picture on it. I have, you saw it?
No, I haven't. Then you explain.
Yeah, it's colorful, has pictures in it, has my picture in it. I have a statement and I address the listeners and tell them what I think and where we're going with BAI. Next month, it will be a statement by Kathy Davis, and the month after it will be a statement by Tony Bates. So the three of us will rotate, writing and addressing the listeners. And we do get a lot of feedback. Unfortunately, I made a mistake of the responses comes to my email, and my email is flooded. I think I have over 2,500 responses from that newsletter from people who just saying, for example, okay, I want to be a subscriber to this, good job, or why don't you, one of the comments, for example, why don't you put the premium online right now so that we can start getting them and reduce the intensity of the fund drive. So we're getting all kinds of comments, and then it's going to be a challenge to try to channel them and respond to them. And a lot of them are, great job, where's my premium? So there's all kinds of stuff. So we are doing it, and since we have the money restraint, we're doing it through email. We are using Constant Contact, which is our email manager, so we are going to be able to do surveys. We are able now to categorize them into different communities. People who pay through PayPal, general public, people who went to the George Galloway event, all that kind of stuff. So we are working it right now. It's going to take a little while. We are hoping that our interns and our volunteers, we have a lot of new blood coming into the station on a regular basis. And just adding, if everything works well, by May 1st, we're going to have a gentleman from Serbia who's going to come for 1 year to do some internship with us. Kathy had a few interns. We have an intern/volunteer from Turkey who is Kurdish, was a Kurd. We have we have an intern from India. We have, we hopefully will be working that, and hopefully they'll take over.
Say that, Arlene, that there's always this talk about freedom of speech on WBAI or associated with this group here even. And here you see Mitch Cohen says he wants to speak, but he's not allowed. I mean, this is, you say a piece. Now, for instance, I said to you, don't keep it on, saying the next meeting will be March 9th. Change the word to say the last meeting was March 9th. The new meeting will be April 13th. Hopefully, if we find an inexpensive space. So the point I'm trying to make, though, with this is to say that I am a 50-year, do you realize when I say how meaningful it is? It's not just some 5-0 happy birthday, goodbye. The next minute we gave you your birthday cake, a slice, and we blew the candles out. This is what the station is about, freedom of speech. Paul DiRienzo long ago protested that in the minutes of the public comment mention, his name was associated with something that he didn't like. So he said, I'd like my name dropped out, and you can just say a person here was criticized about something. Leave his name out. Well, I don't like that either, but it was voted okay. Somewhere, maybe, come on, there's hardly any members here. We could be 15 or 20 if there had been a mention on the, first of all, we have a hotline. It's called 209-2919. And
they don't know about it.
What?
They probably don't know about it.
No, I'm telling you that, Arlene, and it's supposed to list when the meeting is, and up until I don't even know if now, if you took that number, you would get.
You would, and the time is up.
Come on with this time
Your
is up.
time is up.
If there's 30 minutes and 5 people, I should have 6 minutes. Not 2 minutes, Mitch, but you want to suppress me. Now, Robert Knight, I called
Time
into
is up,
his
Robert.
Earthwatch program, and first of all, I know Mike's here. To his Earthwatch program, I was cut off
Okay, Monroe, your
4
time is
times,
up. We
and
need to
on the
move
last
into
one, I said,
executive
Robert,
session. I'm going to ask you to please stop talking now.
look, I just said to you, there's
Doesn't matter,
30
your
minutes.
time is up.
You let Bill
30
Gold, or
minutes
whatever
is
his
up.
name was, Goldman, last time come back and make a second comment. He spoke for his 2 minutes and
This
others.
is your second comment. Your
No,
time
it
is up.
isn't. The point is that
What is
this
the pleasure of the board?
WBAI doesn't even have a message board. It used to.
Okay, Monroe, give you like half a minute and just wrap it up, please.
What is this, some kind
You're
of
wasting
game?
your time. No. we
I
have
go
an
and
executive
struggle
session.
to get down here, I'm 80 years old, Arlene, and these people have, nothing matters, just 2 minutes. I am trying to tell Arlene that do you know how many people read all these celebrity magazines? I asked to have Ralph Nader brought in somehow to be a presence at the station. Jane Fonda gives a message, a repeating message. You know what it is, right? The Jane Fonda, she doesn't like the media the way it is and all this. Well, why not get Jane Fonda to surface here and be excitating the New York megalopolis?
Ralph Nader.
What?
Thank
Ralph
you.
Nader, man.
Well, Ralph Nader too,
You know,
Jane
we
Fonda,
have to move into
Bill
executive
Maher,
session
Bill
because
Maher,
the building's
a
gonna be
wonderful
closed.
personality. He must love WBAI, I can't believe he does. But
All
the
right,
thing
Monroe, you're out of, I gave you
Take
the time.
Gregory.
Finish.
Enough. Come on, be fair, he said enough.
They're gonna close the building on us.
You're,
You've got 6 more minutes if somebody wants to speak.
Oh, 6 more minutes.
No, it's supposed to be half hour.
That's right, it's supposed to be a half
If
hour.
anybody else wants.
They're more interested in telling me to shut up than to...
there are other speakers who would like to speak. So, yeah, Serene.
First of all, I'd like to remind the chair, all that's been pointed out before, is a little resistant to learning, that members of the public are not required to name themselves, and therefore you should not be shouting out their names. You've done that for everyone. I don't know, I guess it works for you, but it's against the bylaws. As in fact is this meeting, which should have been noticed on the website as late as yesterday morning, early yesterday morning. There was not even a mention of the date, which is the point Monroe is trying to make.
Right, thank
The
you.
dates are set, was set when you guys said second Wednesday meeting. There's no reason why all the dates shouldn't be listed. You know, at least all the next 3 meetings, and then you go in and put the location, and at least a week in advance. People who have to use Access-a-Ride cannot call at the last minute and say, this is where I'm going. You have to make those arrangements in advance. So there's at least one part of the population, aside from the fact that people have busy lives, that you're discriminating against. The hotline was not updated until yesterday as well. And that hotline is in existence and it's free for the station. It's been there for the past 7 years. It's been 2 years since you guys took over, moved in with your crew and, you know, the attempt to change the transmitter locks and so forth. It's actually a little funny to hear there's that an escalation contract, an escalation clause which is standard in commercial leases wasn't thought about or known about by the people who've been running the network. And I know you've been only here for a year, Arlene, but that really is long enough. And Laverne, certainly, as the brilliant CFO that she is, who still can create the template that all the stations are required to use, should certainly know that because she's been, you know, practicing around BAI as head person in charge for a minute. And she then found out Mr. Reimers, who we were told came in shortly after Grace Aaron and the company showed up in April of '09. He was on payroll by September of that year. So to say that this isn't in place, that isn't in place, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, and he was represented as such a brilliant source of fiscal and financial responsibility and energy, and is apparently still clueless as he was when he got the job.
The time is elapsed.
There's 4 minutes.
You have 2 minutes.
And, I'm sorry, there's 4 minutes left, And there's been plenty of talk by other people who got more than 2
Yeah,
minutes.
2
so I'm
minutes
going to-
each, let the other people speak.
So my
if they
point
choose
is,
to.
in addition to the program
Your
changes,
time is
were
elapsed,
poorly thought out
Serene.
and shoved through in November, there's been no response. People with a certain amount of play have been
There's
able to get
other
their shows
people,
back.
well, let me see, if there are no other people that want to speak, then it's something else. Are there others?
Let her use the time.
Well, let's see if there are others. Are there others who will want to speak? Okay, go ahead.
There are very few listeners here because you guys didn't publicize the
Right.
meeting, because obviously you prefer to do things, you know, in secret and in the dark. And darkness is normally a good thing, but the way you guys operate, really. So with a bunch of media professionals that have taken over this network, and the fact that you guys still have no clue what you're doing programmatically, and you can actually listen to it on the air. You know, I don't know if, are you, Reimers, I'm actually speaking to you, I see you're busy doing something under the table, which of course is part of the process. I thought it was great that we're having this meeting near the bowl, by the way, because I think it's symbolic of what so much of what the station is doing. Bowl, you get it? Okay, the station and the board, so I thought that was really fitting. But my point is that Reimers, who was introduced as a fiscal wonder, had to be told repeatedly on a public screen the difference between an employee and a contract worker while they were preparing the budget. Now, listeners paid for the cost of those calls. Go back and listen to the National Finance Committee meetings where you were the resident expert and people without any accounting degrees had to coach you on what you were actually to do on that budget. So I think there's a horrible waste of money. I think a lot of people are in place simply because of their contacts and their friendships and their ability to take orders and suggestions and follow the lead of certain people whose desire it is to own WBAI and who have been facilitated in their desire to get their hopes in everything that BAI should be doing and could do by the people who are in management positions now. But I don't think you will be there for long, and I think, you know, everyone should do your best. Financially, the world's in a difficult state, but make sure that you prepare, I guess your contracts have probably covered you for that, I hope so. But make sure that you prepare your little nest egg because you're going to be needing it sooner than later. The listeners are not nearly as foolish as you think. They're uninformed because I think you guys have been masterful. No LSB reports, no management reports.
Your time is elapsed again.
I don't know how many chairs there are, but you're not
Your
sharing.
time is elapsed again.
So
So
I
you
really
use
want
up
to put you guys, I want to put all of you on
Since we're
notice
not
about
allowed
what
to
it is you're doing.
respond, as I said, because if we were allowed to respond, things would be different. So, we're going to, I want to thank folks for coming. We're going to move quickly into executive session here.
Should I close down?
Excuse me?
I'll turn it off?
Yeah.
A-N-E, that's it, A-R-L-E-N-E, at pacifica.org.
We need someone to also help her.